And did you know him before the party?
And I did not know him. I heard of him. We had never, ever even had a conversation, okay? So I just heard, and actually, I was actually looking forward to meeting him.
But instead of a professional meet and greet, Cruz claims Bennett leered at him from across the room.
And he looked me in my eyes, and he was sticking his tongue out overtly sexually to me. I mean, it was no mistake that this was a sexual type tongue move. And I'm going, and I'm thinking it's a joke. I'm thinking, is this how this guy breaks the ice? I don't understand what this is.
Confused, Cruz said he reached out to shake his hand.
I reached my hand out, and he takes his right hand and under mine and immediately squeezes, grabs my genitals, and I'm jumping back like, hey, whoa. And he jumps back, and he still does this tongue stuff, and he's making weird noises, and then he comes back again and grabs me again. And I slap his hand away, push him back more forcefully, and I'm like, what are you doing?
According to Cruz, the alleged groping happened in front of his wife, Rebecca King Cruz. She confirmed her husband's account to ABC News.
That's Don. Damn, you the cleanest little troll I ever seen. Who the nigga she with? Oh, that's just Money Mike. Little Lucky Charms, little micro mini pen. That nigga look magically delicious, nigga. Burn and shit. Craig, look weird. Oh, man, thanks for coming through, man. I appreciate that.
Oh, no problem, man. Thanks for inviting us. We had to show y'all some love after what y'all did for us at the store. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate it. Don't you look good?
Introduce me to your friend. Yo, it's right through this.
I got the P. Diddy. I can get it on.
Don't piss on the seat. What's up, OG, triple OG? Let that look in your eye. First fish on the line, nigga. Ain't nothing like that shit.
Drink a little bit more water. Smell like ammonia in this bitch. Come on. There you go. One at a time, player. One at a time. Busy right now, working with a monster.
You know what this is, nigga.
New boots.
Don't fight this shit.
Fight what shit?
Just let it happen.
Let it happen.
Is there a cyber? Let's go.
Peace, family. My brother Assad. It's your brother Charlie. The new edition. Brother Rich. You. Brother Obadiah. Welcome to Black Men's Dialogue. What we want to try to do is we want to try to enlighten the unenlightened by having conscious discussions on certain topics that are destroying Black people in America. We also want to encourage progressive Black thinking. Peace, my brother.
Thank you.
Pardon me. Peace, brother.
All right.
Yes, sir. Peace, my brother.
Peace and blessings be upon the
Yes,
brother.
sir. You too.
No doubt.
For peace. Welcome, my brother.
Thank you.
Yes, welcome.
Good to have you. We got a 4-piece today. Brother Charlie's joint will be bullying. Brother Rich, appreciation. Brother O, materialism. And mine will be baggage. So we're going to discuss it briefly, and then we're going to come up with our own solutions, and then hopefully you can do the same. First off, I want to explain something. I was critiquing our EP's last 2 joints, right? And I noticed that Brother Rich hit me like this. You all right, brother? I'm holding my head. Why am I holding my head? Because I'm disgusted. And I want to make it brief, and if anybody want to chime in after it. The reason why I'm disgusted is I love what we do. You know, we be serious men, we full of passion. I'm a very passionate man. I'm a serious man. I'm animated, of course. However, it's safe to say that everybody here has, within our age group, we have experienced and bared witness to the Black family structure being strong and firm and you know, in tune. Now look at it. We've also experienced and bared witness to brothers being masculine. Now look where we are. Sisters being feminine. Communities being communities. Look where we at now. Neighborhoods being neighborhoods. So that's my disgust. I pray to God that we're able to see a change for the betterment with all these issues and, you know, even more. Because that's my disgust. That's when brother said, yo, you all right? I'm sitting there like this because, man, once again, there should be more of us even doing these type of platforms. You know what I mean? Just so we can bring awareness, and then we can try to make improvements. So that's that. Let's touch on Terry Crews real quick before we get into our topics. Briefly explain to me how you feel about his situation. I think everybody knows he's claiming that he's sexually harassed by a guy in Hollywood or this, that, and other. What you think, brother?
Right off the bat, it's disgusting to me. I have a problem with anybody that's being violated. I don't care who you are, where you are, what age you are. But we have this sense of freedom. You know, in America, we are supposed to be free. But if we can't be secure in our own bodies, then that's a problem. You know, Martin Luther King said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And that was an injustice perpetrated on a Black man who it should never have happened. You know, so, you know, I would defend him and his right to protest that, you know, like anybody else. You know, it's not a racial thing. You know, it's a human thing. You know, once another person decides, you know, I'm going to overstep my bounds and violate your rights, then, you know, the world is not a wonderful place anymore.
You got that right.
You know, but that's my feeling.
Okay. Brother Rich, what you feel?
I didn't see the full interview,
Right.
but what I know and heard of it, it's definitely the culture in Hollywood, unfortunately. Virtually since Hollywood began, you know, a lot of people know it as the casting couch, whether it be male or female. You know, if you want the job, certain things you're going to do, and if you don't want to do it, there's 1,000 others in line. that will do it. And a lot of people, unfortunately, compromise their beliefs, their morality, their character in order to be famous. Now, you know, there's a certain element that I understand as an actor and actress. You work hard, you know, you want to be recognized for your work, you know, whether it be the music business, whether it be show business. And there are a lot of people, unfortunately, there's compromising their integrity. Some people call it selling your soul. But basically doing things you normally wouldn't do for fame. And, you know, there's a lot of people that will never know their names, even more talented than the people we see today, because they've walked away from the negotiation table because there's certain things they wouldn't do. And unfortunately, when you do acquiesce to that type of sexual pressure and you do it, you make it worse for everybody that comes after you, because then it gives that perpetrator license to continue to do it. When you don't speak up, when you go ahead and do it, you know, and yes, you are a victim, but, you know, in giving in, you know, you increase the victims as well. And, you know, sometimes, you know, the right thing and the hard thing is the same thing. I've said that before on other telecasts that we've engaged in. But, you know, you just got to stand up sometimes. And, well, like, people's like, well, you know, I understand it, man. You know, it costs him a job, it costs her a job. Listen, it costs a lot of people more than a job, the stuff that they had to suffer and go through because of this culture and the fuel that this culture gets to continue to, you know, sexually violate both male and female. So, you know, speak up. I know that a lot of people are like kind of down on women for speaking up now because like, well, why didn't you say something 10, 20, 30 years ago? But we all recognize that element of intimidation, the element of shame. Some people feel like, well, maybe it was my fault, you know, but there is empowerment in numbers. And when somebody speaks out and, you know, it kind of gives you a little power, like, you know what, you know, it happened to me, you know, hey, it happened to me too. You know, so I understand, you know, some people, you know, a lot of people hold it because everybody that says they were abused, there's like hundreds or maybe thousands that never say anything. So it's a big problem to say the least. And, you know, I applaud all those people who are now coming forward because it is a big issue. So,
Yes, sir. Bravo. I am ecstatic that he came out. And the reason why I am ecstatic, because instinctively when you think about sexual abuse and harassment, you're thinking men about women. So for this brother to come out, a muscular brother who was like, you know, he could do some damage if he needed to, for him to come out and let people know that something happened to me. If nothing more, it brings awareness to, as he talked about, the people, the little boys, the teenage boys, the adult men who had things happen to them or may have things happening right now, currently to them, to say, you know what? I'm not afraid to come out and speak out now. I don't, you know, this brother came out and put himself on Front Street when he didn't have to do that. And if nothing more, I pray that it provides encouragement to that individual who, again, who has been abused, molested, assaulted, to say, you know what, I got enough strength now to do it. If Terry Crews did it, then I can do it. Because the only way that we can address these issues that are never talked about is that we have to have someone come out and initially start the ball to roll. You know, and I think he really did it. And I really applaud him for that. I commend him on his restraint because it definitely would have been me. Right. I'd have punched him out. But that, you know, but that's how I would have handled it. But I do commend Terry Crews for that. And I really do appreciate that he came out because I'm sure that he had a talk with his wife about this. And they probably sat down at the dinner table and said, do you really want to do this? And he said, honey, you know what? I really do. I really do. And I really appreciate that, again, just for nothing else than for the encouragement that prayerfully someone will get after that and will have the strength now to come forward and speak up.
Hey, I'm taking it from another angle, yo. Listen, brother said, sell your soul, right? We all know that that's the business, basically. Okay? Yeah.
Also, I believe you mentioned, standing for something, which I believe, we all agree. You got to stand for something. We wouldn't be doing what we're doing right now. You understand? However, for me, Terry Crews, my brother, you said that you would have knocked him the fuck out. I believe most brothers would have knocked him the fuck out, regardless. You're standing for something. Where's the respect? I can't even imagine. People say, oh, I can't imagine. Or, I cannot imagine a man, I don't give a fuck what business I'm in, coming up to me and grabbing my dick or my nuts.
Happens a lot in Hollywood, man.
I understand.
Yeah,
and that's all he said. Now, the thing is this. On top of that, in front of your fucking wife or your woman, let me tell you something. And this is just my take. This is my thought. That cat he already sold his soul, man. He was already, that European dude that did that shit did it because he felt comfortable in doing it. You can't tell me that he didn't. Who's going to do that unless you feel comfortable? You think that dude was like, well, damn, I'm looking at this big, muscular black guy. I don't know if I should grab his dick or not. No. It's some dealings that went on prior to, guaranteed. It ain't came out. For him to just say, you know what, hey, how you doing today? And grab his shit.
Oh, yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah. That's why I talked about giving license and empowerment to the dudes. They've been doing it
Let me finish this now. Okay? So, with that being said, I ain't gonna lie. And listen, man, I'm a caring brother. Don't get me wrong. I don't have no sympathy for that shit because I think it's bullshit. And now we're living in a day where it is a modern day soap opera. Everything is about drama. Soap operas, I believe, they probably done died down and dwindled down a little bit from back in the 80s and 70s, so on and so forth. I'm not sure, but I believe, I don't hear about them much. Like, back in the day, that's all it was. But now you got internet and things of that nature. I think that's going to be a dinosaur pretty soon. But now it's happening in everyday life. You got 45. I would never consider this dude, quote unquote, the president. Fuck him. But drama queen. Is he not?
Oh, definitely. Let me ask you real quick, though, on the Terry Crews interview. Like I said, I didn't get to see it all. What was the result? I mean, apparently he named the guy, because I heard a different account where he did name the executive because he said he wanted to continue to work, but I just seen a little piece of the interview.
Yeah.
Apparently he named him.
But that's part of the drama. Listen, once again, one of you brothers said, why you wait so long? He came out because everybody else came out. Come on, man, that's corny. Do you think? I'm talking about a respectable man. Once again, I just mentioned it, masculine. And then we're going to go into our topics, right? You're going to wait. I don't care how long it was. Months, years, whatever. Fuck. They say, oh, this guy grabbed my dick and in front of my wife. Why? For all that, you might as well not say nothing.
It is harder for me to accept a man like Terry Crews, because you see his physique and everything, to wait longer as opposed to, when you think typically women, because, the masculinity part of it.
Yeah.
But, I will say with that whole shame and being molested or sexually abused, that there is, a fear that comes right along with that, where it just clamps a lot of people up. So there is power in numbers. When one talks, it really helps for other, helps other people get it out as well.
Pardon me, I'm just saying. I believe you can't do it. You can't be that comfortable doing it unless it was already understanding going on. I'm sorry.
You're talking about the talent agent.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree.
With him.
Yeah, he's a perpetual abuser, no doubt. If he feels that comfortable where you go up to a man and
I'm talking about with him. He was comfortable to do it with him. We're not talking about no woman where you can overpower. We're talking about this guy. Guarantee he was bigger than him.
You saying he did it to Terry more than once? Or?
That's what I'm saying. There was an understanding there for him to be able to be so comfortable.
I can't make that presumption.
That's on me.
Yeah.
We doing our own, and that's mine. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, all right.
Hold on. Because I don't want to take too much time with it. I just wanted to go around real quick, boom, boom. We can go back and revisit. Let's get to our topics.
Okay.
So yours, Brother Charlie's baby, is bullying. What's your take on it, and what would be your suggestion for solutions?
Okay. First of all, this whole concept of bullying started years and years ago. Okay? It has its roots in competition. You feel me? From the beginning of time, we know that there's only so many resources on the earth. And we have competition in every aspect of life. We reward competitors who succeed. But bullying, whole countries bully other countries. Their leaders bully weaker people. Okay? Our captivity in Africa and our degradation of our culture in every way is a bullying thing. It's a power trip. You understand? For many, many years, it was whoever had the mic had the right. Okay? So, modern day, let's fast forward to 2017. Our kids are being spoon-fed a steady diet of televised violence, antisocial behavior, and sex.
No doubt.
Okay? They have a multiplicity of channels to get this garbage from. Okay? When Joe made it Gans Cooley, created Sesame Street, she took that positive educational programming, she took that to all the major networks. And she said, I would like you to buy into this. And they said, no, we don't want it. And she took it to PBS and they funded it. And it was one of the most successful long-running series out there.
I'm a fan.
Okay, of course. Who has not sat down and watched the episode of Sesame Street and been enlightened in some way? You feel me? But let's flip the script. The major networks have a thing, their program is called KidVid. Okay? KidVid is cartoons based on adult concepts. Okay? Violence is under the formula, they have a formula called violence equals ratings equals profits. So the more violence they can squeeze in an episode of cartoons or shows, the greater the attention span of the viewers, and the higher the ratings, and that means the higher profit from advertisers.
Right.
Okay? So now our kids, instead of being taught the golden rule, doing to others that we have others doing to you, and treat others with dignity, they're being taught, get them before they get you.
Yeah. Don't be doing
Okay? A child's mind is much weaker than an adult mind. We all agree with that. Right?
Absolutely.
But a child's mind is also a blank slate. So if you take all this negativity and you put it into a child, they're going to incorporate it in some form or fashion.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to act out. Children act out. They role play.
Right.
And they play games.
Yeah.
Okay? So if they get a high, they get an endorphin rush.
Yeah.
They get a thrill from seeing someone weaker or someone taken advantage of, and it gets reinforced on a regular basis.
Right.
You're going to have a bully.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm sure all of us at some point in time in life was bullied. I can remember the first time I was bullied. Okay, I was like 5, 6 years old.
It wasn't fun.
It wasn't fun. But this is what happened. My family was moving out the neighborhood. This boy, and I remember his name to this day, his name was Michael White. Mike comes and he decides that he's going to pick on me. My parents went home, came to my house, banged on the door, glass. Yeah,
Oh, snap.
it was a glass window. And all I could think of was that if he breaks that glass, my father want to break my...
Right.
Okay? And I said, I can't let this happen. Dad is not coming home seeing this glass broke. So I opened that door and bam, I punched him right in the eye.
There you go.
Okay? I stood up to him for fear of something worse.
Right.
Never had no more problems out of Michael White. Okay? And that's funny because, I've heard that kind of situation over and over as far back as Samson Goliath and then
David Goliath. Yeah. Right.
Once you stand up to that bully, then he backs down, he's normalized, life goes on.
Yes.
But there are some people who get caught up in the more. They want more everything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
And this bullying thing, they're cowardly Okay, but they want more attention, they want more power. Okay, and today it's like they just can't get enough. You know, they say power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And if you look at the world, okay, anywhere where there's a leader who's in power and there's nobody to check him, they run him up.
So what's your solution? And I'm thinking I'm getting what you're saying, but I just want to make sure that the viewers know. What is your solution?
The solution is when you see a bully ganging up on somebody else, then you have to team up with the person who's being victimized and encourage them to stand up. Because if they don't stand up, they're going to continue to be a victim.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
So support.
Absolutely, we have to support because obviously the bully has a little bit more wherewithal than the victim. Okay, but if this bully gets too much power, then he's going to pick on other people.
Absolutely.
He's not going to just stop.
Never ending sight.
Right, he's going to continue until somebody punches him in the eye.
Come on, Brother Rich. I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that.
Well, you know,
Bullying, brother.
Yeah, I definitely concur with what my man is saying with respect to, you know, support and standing up, you know, and that whole strength in numbers, power in numbers thing. You know, a lot of bullies, one of their main tools is fear. And they work and they operate that. And fear is a very powerful thing. And, you know, fear can grip you up and lock you up where, you know, you're incapacitated. And, you know, that's where that support comes in. That's where parents who are involved or parent, just to see what's going on. You know, like I said before, the fellas, before the tape start rolling, with respect to the internet, it's like a door, you know, and you got to be careful who you let in, you know, and there's a lot of strangers out there, you know, who don't have your kids or even your best interests in mind. And so, you know, we really got to police this thing and be on top of our kids where this is concerned, because there's a lot of, you know, evil people out there, you know. So with the bullying, you know, like my man says, a lot of Mike Whites in the world. And, you know, I had my Mike White, you know, and, you know, even now with the sexting, as they call it, you know, you got young girls in these relationships. They break up with the boyfriend. Next thing you know, the boyfriend is spreading all kinds of sexual pictures of them. And it's just, it's you know, bullying, you know, 2.0, I guess you could say. And kids today, you know, are hanging themselves and committing suicides over this stuff. This is serious stuff. And we, as the adults, need to be in there and be active and, you know, get in between all this stuff, because it's out of control, to say the least. Back to you guys.
Brother O, bullying.
As I stated before, I believe that pretty much everything starts at home. Everything starts at home. As Americans, we typically have a narcissistic mentality. It's all about us, all about me. It's all I care about. The solution to it, in addition to what the brothers have said, because I totally agree with what the brothers have said, we gotta prepare our kids for life. Before we talk about later in life, we gotta prepare them for what occurs early in life, and address these issues. We need to get more involved with our kids. We tend to let, from what I tend to see, just let our kids just experience things, and then we respond after the experience. Well, a lot of times it's too late. You're talking about suicide and drug addiction and depression and so forth. So as the brother already talked about, kids' minds are immature. They don't know anything. So they need us as a parent or parents to indoctrinate them to exactly what to do when these situations happen. When you have a bully, wherever it is, at school or on the block or in the community or in the area, so forth and so on, what to do. The second thing we need to do is teach our children, if you see something negative, don't just act like you don't see it. Get involved. And this may be a little bit tougher for parents, because when you do that, you kind of put your kids out there. So, and as a parent, you don't want your kid hurt. But as a parent also, you don't want your kid to be hurt.
Exactly. Except they got a slogan out. I think it says, if you see something, say something.
You know,
and
exactly. And so that's what I believe we need to do. We really need to start, all told, getting more involved with our kids. I mean,
at this day and age, there's so much more that kids are exposed to than I'm old. I speak for myself. I'm pushing 50, so we didn't have to deal with as much as these kids have now. We weren't open to as much negativity as these kids are. As the brother talked about, we got the internet negative, we got television with a plethora of just negative images and words and so forth and so on. And I think that as parents, we've fallen back in communicating with our kids. And this is a bad time for us to do that. I think we really need to get more involved with our kids, have more communication with our kids, prepare our kids better to deal with what's occurring in life. Have conversations. Don't just wait for the issue to occur and then try to rectify the issue, because it may be too late by then. So I think if we start doing that, start talking with your kids, preparing them, letting them know, look, if someone offers you drugs in school, this is what you do. If someone is bullying you, this is what you do. Run through these scenarios with them so that when these things happen, they'll know instinctively what to do. And if you see this happening, maybe you don't want to get involved and say something, but I want you to say something to someone. Go to a teacher or NTA, come to me, come to a parent, come to someone and say, Johnny, I witnessed Johnny being bullied by such and such. We'll know what to do. That way it keeps you out the loop, keeps you protected, and that way we need to get more involved and we can rectify that situation. It's not your job to rectify your situation, but I believe it is your job to say something. Not to just see something and just say, well, I'm glad it ain't me. We got to prepare to teach our kids that. And once we start doing that, there'll be less bullying, less suicide, less drug addiction, less depression.
I just want to jump in here, because you're hitting on some really important things. I had a friend, we were talking, she said she had a grandson, and she asked him how his day went. Okay, he's like in first and second grade. And he said, well, the boy punched me in the face today. And the teacher didn't do anything. And she said, well, you go back to school and you punch him and you hit him harder than he hit you. And I was like, okay, that's a knee-jerk reaction. And I understand that. I understand that because you got to stand up for yourself. But nowadays, we have to remember, in school, you get into a serious fight in school, they expel you for a year.
Yeah. I want you to hold that thought. I want him to finish his bill. Okay. Yeah. Okay, go ahead, bro. Then I'm going to go ahead and hit it.
Yeah, so we have to be diplomatic. It's like you said, we have to tell somebody, and I had to tell her something because as a former school teacher, I didn't want her son to lose that opportunity because I knew that happened to another child on my block. Okay, and then he started hanging out with the bad boys, okay, and, because he was in junior high school. Yeah. So some parents can't afford to put their child in a private school now for a year. So I was like, okay, let me give you another alternative, okay? Something to think about. And you're saying tell somebody. Yes, tell somebody. I had to go back because I was like the first, the new kid in school and the new kid on the block like 4 times. My family kept growing, right? And I was being belittled in one school, and I just got tired of it. And this is what I told her. I went to the principal's office, and I sat outside in the chair. And eventually, the vice principal came by, and he asked me why I was sitting there. And I told him, they keep messing with me. And after that, it was a difference. They knew if I was sitting on that bench, I'm having a problem. Okay? And my father's friend from when he grew up was a teacher at the school. So now other people are involved. You understand? And as other adults are involved, then you got a situation you can work out.
Yeah.
So I hope, we communicate with our children about these kinds of things, like you're saying, because we have to prepare them for what's going on now in light of all these consequences.
Now, let me say this. Hold on a second. Let me say this. That we're going, look, you said something earlier. The brother's experience was, what's my man's name? Mike White. Mike White. Okay? What did you have to do? You had to punch him in the mouth. Okay? That's my slogan per se. You know that. When we talked about, we had a segment on police brutality, and I said they are a congregation of bullies. Okay. Now, once you fight back against the Euro-American system, who is a bully, they start to understand, because now you're catching their attention. Period. Point blank. If you catch somebody's attention, they start to think instead of just reacting or even acting. Because usually the bully is an actor, not a reactor. He's an actor, right? So, for me, you punch that motherfucker in the mouth. I'm gonna say that. Period. Okay? Because let me tell you something. When we were coming up, right? And this is the difference in times, which I spoke about earlier. This is the difference in generations. When we grow up, usually, not all the time, but usually there was a male figure in the home or in the equation, whether it was a father, whether it was an uncle, right? And then when young males were coming up, they taught you how to hold your hands and fight. Okay? So you knew if somebody tried to bully and take advantage of you, coming up in school or what have you, you had to hold your hands. And you had to defend yourself. Okay? Period. And usually, we know that the bully usually gets exposed. When that one motherfucker hit back and punched him in his motherfucking mouth, what happened? Oh, shit. He wasn't ready for that. Now everybody looking at him like, oh, you're not invincible. I probably can beat your ass too. You've been bullying me for years. Hey, you know what I'm saying? But we don't have that anymore in the equation of the family. You see, I'm not going to say there's none. There's a shortage of the brothers that are able to teach the young brothers and sisters, this is what you must do. You know what I mean? That's why so many gun murders, gun killings in the country amongst our people, because they don't know how to fight no more. You understand? You have to, it's called hand-on-hand combat, hand-to-hand combat. You see? It's very easy to pull a trigger. We talked about this, I'm not going to go on and on about this before, last episode. So my thing is this, bullying. Self-esteem has a lot to do with it as well. Okay? You mentioned, brother, talk, communicate with your children. Extremely important. This is what we must do, because we have to start nurturing our children more. We have to start informing them more so that they feel a comfortability within themselves, right? Once they get that, then they will have the opportunity to approach that bully, whether it's, violently or not. It might just be, hey, look, I want to talk to you for a minute. Listen, I don't like what's going on here, this, that, and the other. You know what I mean? And sometimes that can make a change too. But please believe me, if you have reasoning is very powerful. People understand that. Because you can sit there and talk to somebody, listen, this is what I don't agree with, so on and so forth. They're not used to that. Now you got them thinking, man, they got a point there. Let me read this cat alone. You know what I'm saying? So that's my take on that. What's up, bro? And then we'll go to my brother. Okay.
Bullying is a real complicated process. The dynamics, are individual, and they can be devastating. I can remember thinking about the kid from Columbine, one of the first mass shootings. Okay, this kid was being bullied. Okay, and he had the means, the opportunity to get so many weapons and to come into that school and vent his anger. Okay, that's why bullying really is a societal problem. In this country, we have far more violence per capita than anywhere else in the world. We have a violent society because we're spoon-feeding our children violence all the time. The whole slavery thing was full of violence. The women of the West destroying the Indians' culture, that was violent. Okay, the Spanish-American War, World War I, World War II, all these, Vietnam, all these are larger scale bullying type scenarios. So, we have to know our history, not as just one people or one race, but as a human race. We have to understand what it's going to lead to. If we don't learn how to coexist, we're going to destroy ourselves. If we allow one race to be destroyed, like the decimation of the Native American population here in this country, if we continue to allow that to happen, it's going to just keep moving up the line. The next race, to the next race, to the next race. And I say race, but I'm saying ethnically, really.
Because did the Thanksgiving Jordan. Come on, let me go to Brother Rich, brother. Because we got to go ahead and we can come back to it.
Sure.
Brother, your topic we're going to touch on. Appreciation.
Okay.
Brother Rich.
Appreciation. I'm not going to take.
Running from the police, that's right. Mama catch me, put a whooping to my backside. And even as a crack fiend, mama, you always was a black queen, mama. I finally understand, for a woman it ain't easy trying to raise a man. You always was committed, a poor single mother on welfare. Tell me how you did it, ain't no way I could pay you back. Look here, my plan to show you how I understand. Mom, you all appreciate it. And dear mama, hey, check this out, put your hands in the air if you love your mama. Let me see, just wave your hands in the air if you love your mama. Raise your hand in the air, cause dear mama.
But it's one of the more, I guess, positive topics. You know, a kind word goes a long way. And, you know, even, you know, scripturally, give credit to whom credit is due. Even so much to say, you know, Proverbs talks about the power of, or death and life is in the power of the tongue. You know, I mean, you can just rip somebody to shreds verbally. You know, words like, phrases like, you know, I wish you was never born, or, you know, stuff like you ugly, you know, that's just, you know, you do so much damage to somebody's soul, you know, words are very powerful. So, you know, in the midst of all that we're experiencing these days with the high crime rates and with the things and all the negative things we see, I just want you to kind of focus on, you know, the people that are doing good and that deserve your appreciation, and to acknowledge them. I mean, that's really important. A little appreciation goes a long way. Makes me think of a song by Pac, you know, called Dear Mama. And I hear his voice, you know, you are appreciated, you know, through the whole song. And that means a whole lot, you know, whether it's to your mama, to your spouse, your significant other, you know, your children, your co-workers, you know. And, you know, so I want to hear what the brothers got to say about that word appreciation there.
Dear Mama. Come on, brother. I like that. Yeah.
It's a great word. It's an awesome word.
Right.
But in our ethnicity, it's non-existent. It's non-existent. Not on the level that it should be. Nowhere near.
Not on the level that it should be. Yeah.
There was a time, and again, I'm pushing 50, where when you opened a door for someone, if they didn't say thank you, it would shock and amaze you.
Yeah.
In this day and age, if you open the door, I'm shocked and amazed when someone does say thank you.
Thank you.
Because it happens so infrequently. So I do agree with you that we should show our appreciation in various ways. I think it connects with our previous talk about bullying. Again, I always say everything starts at home. Because the black family has been destroyed and decimated, these kids who are now 20, 30, 40, and 50 years old were never taught about showing appreciation, taught about morals, taught about, you know, relaying, saying thank you and courtesy and so forth and so on. That's one. And then the second fold is, for those that have been taught that, guess what? They're so darn selfish that they don't want to relay that. Because there's no way that I see a woman who's 40 or 50 years old, and I open the door for her, and you can't tell me she wasn't taught thank you, because I know for a fact that you were. It's just the fact that you just chose not to exhibit that sign of appreciation. So I believe, again, first off, we have to start teaching our children better.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yes. And we have to start being better. It's not just always verbalizing. Exactly. We need to show through our actions.
Right.
You know, we need to have that neighbor that who haven't spoken to since we moved there 8 years ago.
Right.
Say, you know what? This is a neighbor of mine. Let me say hello to them.
Yeah.
Let me ask them how they are. Instead of just backbiting them behind closed door every time we see them, giving them the grizzly. You know, this is an issue that we have in a black ethnicity. We don't like each other. So we tend to look at someone as, well, I'm not going to do nothing or say anything accommodating or appreciative because they remind me of someone that I don't like. You know, and I think we just need to be better people.
You think it's more of a universal issue as opposed to just a... I mean, I know we got our issues in our own community, no doubt. But I just see...
Man, we talking about us.
Okay.
That's what we focusing on.
All right, let me switch back. Go ahead,
Come on, brother. We focusing on us. And I'm in agreement with you.
Yeah.
I'm in agreement with you. It's a national issue as America.
Yeah.
But since I'm of the ethnicity that the creator has put me in,
show,
and we are at the bottom of the barrel as opposed to anybody else, I tend to focus on us more specifically. And I think that's all. I think we have to raise our spirituality. We talk about this all the time. I think it starts there. Like when we start saying, you know, it's just not about me. You know, I think someone said a long time ago, it's better to give than to receive. And since we're around this Christmas time, I think it's
Jesus Christ,
appropriate for that.
No doubt.
More so, when you start doing things for other people, I can't speak for anybody else, but I know when I do, I feel really good about myself.
Yeah, no doubt.
I feel really good. Not only do I feel really good about myself, but it seems that Creator tends to do a lot more for me than I do for other people. Proceed.
What's your thought, brother? One thing I want to do, and I know you new to the equation, but I want him to get all his 7 minutes or whatever, and so hold that. Just hold it, and then boom. You know what I mean? And we'll get to you.
And then we tell him to finish with that. You know, so I think we really need to do that. I don't know if you're an older person, whether you can or want to be taught that now. It's a little bit more difficult. But I think just as an ethnicity, if we start doing that and start analyzing, say, you know what, someone did do something for me. You know, thank you for that. Your boss, thank you for hiring me. You know, I mean, for me, I'm appreciative of the simple things. You know, and when we're talking about when you start small, it gravitates to something larger. So if you start appreciating having a job when you didn't have one, if you appreciate the fact when you drive by a corner that you have a vehicle, a motorized vehicle, you don't have to wait for public transportation. For me, this is what I started doing, which is why my appreciation started growing, because I started to look at other people and everything that I had that they didn't, I said, God, thank you.
That's it.
God, thank you. I got a job today and I'm making $6.25. Thank you, God. You know why? Because there's somebody out there who's not working who would love to make $5. Instead of us complaining about stuff, I believe, and I implore people to do this. Look at your life. However you live, whatever you drive, whatever you're wearing, and I ask you to think of someone who doesn't have the clothes that you're wearing, who doesn't have a motorized vehicle, who has to trek 2 miles to the bus stop to catch public transportation just to get to work. For someone, when you're eating your food, think about that person on the corner that you walked by earlier that said, I'm not asking for money, I'm just hungry. Could you buy me something, give me something to eat? And when you start thinking about those people, and someone did this to me, said, think about all the people in the world who don't have what you have.
Right.
Your appreciation will start growing.
Put things in perspective, yeah.
Yes. Mine's gonna be short and sweet, but then you can add, brother. I associate appreciation with the word love because I believe that they're both misunderstood greatly, overused, and misunderstood. Okay? So, like I said, mine's going to be brief. However, I implore everybody that watch this, think about, we always say be cerebral and be critical thinkers. That's important. You know, in life, period. I don't give a fuck who you are, where you at. It's just important. Bottom line. But think about things before you say them. See, we're so quick to say, oh, yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you. These are just words that we're used to hearing and used to saying because it's just because. Even I love you. It's bullshit half the time because you don't show it. See, you can't say I appreciate you and you don't show the appreciation. This is what happens often. You see, you can't say I love you and you don't show it through your actions. No, it's disingenuous. You know what I mean?
So my thing is this: just please, you know, and I'm on what you said too, because I always tell people that I know that I feel don't really comprehend the meaning of appreciation. I always tell them, yo, you know, the situation could be worse. You know, there's people out there, you know what I mean, that are in a worse situation than you, and you don't appreciate. Hey, man, listen. Never say you had a bad day. That's my thing. Say you have a difficult day. Say a trying day. You know, because if you do that and if you fake that, then you are appreciating what you got. You're appreciating the day that you were able to see. People die every day. Okay? Some people can't appreciate the day they had, whether it was trying or not.
No doubt, no doubt.
You understand? So that's what I would say. We definitely have to be more in tune with self, right? And start understanding language, which we put one out, you know what I mean? It's very important. This is what drives you, because you know what? Your thoughts translate to your actions. You understand? If you really think about that word appreciation, when you say it to somebody, you will definitely mean it. And it'll be shown, and it'll be felt.
Right.
That's what needs to be done. Come on, brother.
You know, well, first and foremost, I appreciate you brothers.
Well, likewise, we appreciate you.
I appreciate Brother Top for giving this opportunity to be a part of this forum, you know, for the uplift of our people.
Yes.
You know, more of this needs to happen. And when the brother said, you know, this is what we do, I was like, I want to do that. and him inviting me, you know, it fulfills a need in me. Okay, to have a camaraderie with like-minded brothers, and growing up, you know, I was a loner. You know, I was out there. You know, my father worked out of town. You know, I had a sister above and sisters below, and so I had to hang out with me. Okay, and I joined the little gang. You know, thinking, you know, that was going to help out. You know, but then they would tell me who I could play with and where I could go and what I could do. You know, and I'm like, I'm not down with it. So now I became like public enemy of the little gang. So I'm back there, out there by myself. So to have grown up and progressed through the years and seen all types of situations, and to get to this stage in my life with like-minded brothers are still trying to uplift, you know, their people, I have to appreciate that. You know, I had to lead by example. I became a teacher because of teachers I had.
Right.
Okay, and I had adults that actually came to me and saw that I was downtrodden and lifted me up.
Right.
And you know, my uncle said to me one time, he said, you may not be able to do anything to help me, but you can help somebody. And I said, okay. And I did help somebody, you know, and I helped a lot of people. And as I helped more people helped me.
Right.
And I mean, I'm talking, we was dirt poor, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And my family has grown in one generation to solidly middle class, you know, going to college and the whole nine. I mean, all 10 of us.
Wow.
Okay?
That's impressive.
Yes.
And expensive, but it took a lot of support, okay? Because it was 10 of us. It was 3 of us at college for 10 years straight. So we had to show our appreciation to get there. So when we had the 50th anniversary of my parents' marriage, we invited our neighbors from our old neighborhood.
Yeah.
And they appreciated being there. We didn't just say family come, we said neighbors.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because you were part of that journey for us. You know, and I didn't realize it until we were all there. Okay? And we're looking at our nieces and nephews, they had formed a little band. You know what I'm saying? And someone was on violin, and someone was singing, and someone was on keyboard.
That's a gift.
And everybody appreciated just being there in that moment. You know, and so I think that's what we really have to do. You know what I'm saying? We have to demonstrate appreciation. We have to hug our children. You know what I'm saying? We have to help the neighbor down the street. You know, we have to stop being in such a rush, you know, to get to the next place and ignoring people around us. You know, I got to deal with my own road rage issues. Okay? You know, because I'm not appreciating, like you said, you know, that I have a vehicle. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I'm glad you reminded me of these important issues.
Right.
You know, because I think that's a part of this American society. You know, it's like we're rushing through it so fast that we're not taking enough time to smell the coffee, the flowers, you know.
The truth.
Yeah. You know, I mean, that in and of itself, you know, I mean, just sharing somebody with the truth. You know, things ain't that bad. You know, it feels like that when we don't have anybody to talk to.
Yeah.
It feels like that when we're alone. You know, we can get down on ourselves. You know, I've had my depression. I know every black man in this country has had a moment of depression.
Yeah.
You know, some have had to struggle in spite of it.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think we have to start looking at their glasses half full more often than not. And, you know, at first, when we were talking about solutions, I said, you know, you could look at it like, you know, we're never going to be on the equal footing with rich people. We're never going to have all the caviar and champagne that we want. And there's some elements in this society that if they had their way, they would wipe us out completely.
Absolutely.
But if we say, well, we might as well give up, we'll never succeed. We have to continue to keep hope alive, as Jesse would say, because it gives us strength. And I had to say, you know what? I'm going to leave my family and I'm going to just do me. Maybe I might have succeeded. But we had a greater victory because we all went through that eye of the needle together. You understand what I'm saying? Nobody got left behind.
Not in the eyes of the Creator. You can't do that in the eyes of the Creator. You can't do it and flourish. You will not have your blessings. You know what I mean? Let me say this and then we'll go to this brother's joint, right? Once again, we did I think last app we did something more on respect. And I want to apologize, but yeah, explain. I was just on the phone when the brother was speaking. Now, mind you, my son is checking in with me, letting me know that he's with his girl and he's on his way home. So this is what we do as parents. You understand? Brothers had spoke of that earlier, communication, and we're big on that. So I just wanted to clear that up because I don't want nobody. You're going to have some people that say, he was over there on his phone when the brother was talking. Come on, man, stop that. Man, we all about positivity, man. Growth, and spirituality and positivity, period. So,
but I do appreciate you explaining that because I'm sure there'll be some people, quite a few, that say, these guys talk about positivity.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
And that's what we need to do. We need to start explaining things instead of just assuming.
Let's see. Okay, brother. So, Brother O's joint is materialism. Brother O, materialism.
Very simple. Moving on. No. Well, we talked about materialism before, and we know where it stems from. I don't know if you know where it stems from, but I'll indoctrinate you a little bit. Low self-esteem. We tend to feel that things will provide that missing link that we have within ourselves, where we think that we're not good enough, we're not pretty enough, we're not tall enough, we're not thin enough, we're not smart enough, we're not rich enough, we're not something enough. And what is happening is, guess what? We don't have anything. We tend to spend do you know that, and you can check this out, they said black people are the #1 consumers in America of goods, of material goods. The #1 consumer. And allegedly they say we make up approximately, what do they say, about 13, 14%, somewhere around there?
Right.
How can we make up, allegedly, 13% of Americans, the population, are the #1 consumers of goods in America? That doesn't, I can't fathom that. But anyway.
The numbers are all right.
Hold that, brother.
Anyway, my suggestion, and this is how other ethnicities view wealth. They don't look to become rich themselves, for themselves. They look to become rich for generations after them. So, in essence, if you're spending all your money on yourself, how can your children benefit from that? What are you leaving for them when, Lord willing, very far down the road, you die? This is what we have to start looking at. We have to start looking at the bigger picture and outside of the box. where how the only difference between a Bentley and a Hyundai Sonata is nothing more than $100,000. They both get you to the same place. They both have heat. They both have air conditioning. They both have a radio. They both, matter of fact, the Honda is probably better on gas. So they take you to the same, they do exactly the same thing. If we start focusing on using the money that we make and incorporating it and investing it, or just doing something to help other generations, we'll become more wealthy. There's no reason why you have other ethnicities literally risking their lives to get here in order to make money, because they know it's so easy to make so much money in America. And what do they do with their money? They're sending their money back to whoever their country is. They're stocking up money. They're building this for further generations. Where we've been here for umpteen hundreds of years, and every penny we get, we spend, and we have generation after generation after generation after generation of poverty. That makes no sense. So I implore you once again to look at your finances, look at where you're at, and say to yourself, for your children, when I die, if I die today, will my children benefit from it? What do I have to leave for my children? Do I have a business? We need to start opening our own businesses. Do I have a business where I can teach my children that they can be an employer and not an employee, so that they don't have to cow down and beg somebody for a job, beg someone to keep a job, or when that person or when that company folds, be in such a state where they're unable to think of how they can redefine their lives, because they have to, at 40 or 45 or 50 years old, get into another occupation. When you leave something for them, when you leave a business for them, like other ethnicities do, you don't have to worry about that. When you start investing money, putting away money, and saying, you know what, I'm gonna put this away for my children, for college education, for technical school education, for their wedding, for so other things other than yourself, it makes it easier on the kids. So that's one thing we do. And here's the thing that I want to tell my black brothers and sisters. You're already somebody special. A car doesn't make you special. A car doesn't make you be more important. You're already, in the eyes of God, you're already important. You're already somebody special. You're already achieved. You're already rich. These things are just substances which are here today, gone tomorrow. Can be stolen, can be destroyed, can be ripped, can be decimated. All these things are exactly what they are, material things which don't mean anything. Which matters is you. This is what we need to start focusing on. Who cares what your neighbors think? Who cares what your family think? Who cares what other people think? Be secure in yourself. Drive that 20-year-old car that's already paid for, that gets you 40 miles to the gallon, where you're saving $300 a week from your paycheck because you don't have a car note, because you're not spending money on gas, where your insurance is a sky high because you bought the latest car. We need to start, as Brother Syed talks about being cerebral, we need to start thinking more. We start doing that, we'll be a lot better off.
Yes, sir. I'm going to make mine quick. You touched on a lot of things. I mean, I think, well, you said it earlier. Materialism is synonymous with compensation. Point blank. What you believe you don't have, you want to try to mask it, or, you know what I mean, go above board with something else. So it's kind of like, I guess it ties into along with self-esteem. And also priority, which we did a piece on, and that's very important. If you believe that your Gucci bag or your Gucci belt, or, you know, maybe your vehicle, whatever it may be, you know, if you think that that's way up here on the totem pole, you know what I mean, on the pole of priority, materialistic shit. However, your inner workings, your inner self ain't right. That's not important. Ooh, that's a problem right there. Materialism is a bad thing. But we've learned that from just coming up in this country. You know, North America is about capitalism. You feel me? So, you know what I mean? It's really all about what you show is what you worth, which is totally untrue. You know, I think it would be the antithesis of that. You know what I mean? You ain't got to show it. Not with material. You show it within your character. You understand? You show it within your belief. You show it within your strength. You show it within your weakness as well. So I'm going to keep mine short. Brother Charlie.
You know, I agree with both of my brothers. You know, materialism really is like the antithesis of spiritualism. And you know, we need more spiritualism. You know, the old kind that came from our grandparents, you know, when they sat us down and said, boy, get ready for church. And we'd sit up in church, and we didn't want to be there, but we were going to be yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. And we had a certain level of respect. And we're losing that. You know, every year we're losing that to our pop culture. You know, when you have had so much taken from you as people in this country, you know, Native Americans and for that matter, Mexican Americans, you know, Spanish people, black people, when you've had so much taken away from you, you want to replace those things. You know, parents, I don't care what color they are, what language they speak, they want more for their children. And more, the whole concept of more, you know, it's like you very rarely run into anybody who doesn't want more of whatever it is. You know, and I thought about that, you know, and I've been thinking about that concept of more. You know, I learned in school that man has unlimited wants. You know, you satisfy one level of needs.
Yeah, that's even biblical. Says the eyes of man are never satisfied.
Right. You know, in school they broke it down to a science called Maslow's theory of hierarchy of needs. Okay? You know, you deal with the biological, then the love and belonging, then it's a financial. You know, and I'm forgetting that because I haven't studied for like 30 years, okay? But we go up these rungs on the ladder to self-esteem, you know, self-actualization, you know, and different things occur in the human mind to make us feel better, okay? And we got TV and media constantly brought us saying, you need this, you need that, and you have to get this, and what are you going to do with that? And, you know, that's why we're the number one consumers as black people, because we consume so much media. You know what I'm saying? But the numbers are not quite right. Okay? We have to remember where we're getting our numbers from. Okay? The statistics can really throw you off. You know, I don't believe that we're 13 or 14% of the population. I believe it's closer to 30 to 40% of the population, but we're spread out. But they don't want us to know that. Absolutely. But, you know, two things. And I have to link these things. I have to link your materialism and your appreciation. Okay? Now, I participated in the Million Man March. Okay? And it was 1 million brothers there. And I had never been around that many black men in my life who were so peaceful and who appreciated being in that position. Right. And it was not only overwhelming to me. Everybody who was there had the same feeling. Okay, now how do I know this? Because at one point, you know, Mr. Faircon called for donations. And they had brothers scattered throughout the crowd with baskets. And money was coming in every direction. Every direction. Okay? And we're not talking ones and twos. Right. I'm talking fives and tens, because I was hearing, you know, I'm reaching back and, you know, the brother was overwhelmed with donations. Yeah. Okay? And it was because that experience was so unique and so powerful. I mean, okay, just going to the bathroom, okay? It was like this. brothers would open up the line in one spot. We're not talking a foot square.
Mm-hmm.
And he would slip in, and somebody else would displace their body, and it went on down the line until he made it to the bathroom.
Order.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And it'd be the brother coming back and the brother going in. It was constant.
Right.
Okay, making it to the porta potty.
Right.
And it was like, of course, people had their feet stepped on.
Yeah.
Nobody screamed out.
Right.
There was no arrest.
Pushing and shoving.
There was no.
Yo, what you doing?
No, there was no arguments. Okay? The sisters supported the brothers on the way to the site.
Right.
Okay? And they encouraged us. Okay? And it was just like, it was so magical. Because it's like, when or where could you go and have the same kind of experience? Nobody's drinking, nobody's smoking, nobody's cussing, nobody's arguing. You talk about appreciation, that was a pivotal moment in my life. Because I'm like, where's the unity? Where's the strength? Where's the togetherness that we need to overcome our ethnic group downtroddeness? You feel me?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't say we can't give up hope. That experience let me know if there's a million men here, there's millions more out there.
Right.
Like-mindedness who just couldn't get there.
Yes, sir.
Right.
So what we're doing is going on in other places.
Yes, sir.
We gotta believe that.
Yes, sir.
You understand what I'm saying? You know, I'm not gonna say I'm that smart. This brother is that thorough that we the only ones that can come up with this kind of a situation.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
But we just don't know it because we don't control the media.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay? So we have to continue to say, you know what? I'm gonna put my best foot forward. I'm gonna try to help the next brother, the next sister, the next child, the grandmother. We have to keep that going. Okay?
Yeah.
And I don't believe that we don't appreciate each other enough. I think we have less knowledge of how much appreciation is going on. I was reading something a little while ago, and it basically said there's more good people in the world than bad. Okay? And I know that it's not hate that makes the world go around. It's got to be love. Something gets us up in the morning and makes us go to work.
For our families and take care of our people.
Ourselves. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I think we have to keep it positive.
Absolutely.
You know, and we have to keep encouraging one another. You know what I'm saying? Our younger brothers, you know, I don't want to say, you know, I'm afraid of these kids now. In some instances I am. But I still reach out to young brothers and I try to drop some knowledge on them. Because it happened for me.
We have to.
Okay?
Pass it on.
Right. And we have to do that.
Now, materialism, brother.
Okay, materialism. I agree with Brother O as far as respect to talking about generational wealth. You know, through the Bible was mentioned a lot about inheritance and leaving something for your children and your children's children. And, you know, not just working for that dollar for the day, but, you know, for that dollar for the future. And, you know, I think that's important, and that's something that we should definitely incorporate into our mentality and the fabric of how we work and move, you know, with just a sense of generational wealth and keeping things going. A lot of people put a premium on education as a way to get that generational wealth. Real estate is one of the biggest providers of generational wealth. A lot of people have made their mark in millions through real estate. It's still one of the ways to go. But yeah, our mentality needs to be there with respect of how to generate you know, wealth and keep that going. What I want to say in respect to spirituality and wealth is, you know, because the topic was materialism, is, you know, that shouldn't be the priority. My man Asad was talking about, you know, priorities and you know, the Lord understand that you have need, all right? You know, you got to eat, okay? That this body need to be clothed, you know what I'm saying? So, but his thing was, I know that you have need of these things, But he was like, seek first my kingdom and my righteousness, and all these other things will be added unto you. Okay, so don't worry about what you're going to wear, what you're going to eat, et cetera, et cetera. He gave you ability, 2 hands and feet to work. I know, Paul was talking to some problems about some problems that the brothers were having in one of the churches where these brothers wanted to eat up everything, but they wasn't working. And he was like, guess what? You don't work, you don't eat. So, if you're an able-bodied man, able-bodied woman, you need to get out there, you need to work. And, I want to get into specifics, but, I'm talking in generalities now, just the basics of life, things that we need to take heed to. And, and like my brother said earlier about it's more blessed to give than to receive. When you give, you bless yourself. And like he said, definitely the Creator is pleased with that. He said, give and it shall be given unto you. Shake down, press together, running over, shall men give. So that should be a part of that whole sowing and reaping mentality. What you put in is what you get out. One more thing about money, and we understand its necessity, but, one of the most misquoted lines is that money is the root of all evil. And that's not what the word says. It says the love of money is the root of all evil. Okay, so don't get that confused, because that same dollar bill, that can go and, sell coke in the neighborhood and corrupt is that same one that can feed a hungry belly, that can put clothes on naked kids, etc. So money is amoral. It's neither good nor evil. It's what you do with it. Same with the internet, same with TV, same with radio. In and of itself, it's neither good or evil. It's the spirit behind it. It's the motivation behind these inanimate objects, that drives whether or not it's negative or positive. So keep that in mind. God bless.
Yes. All right, we're on the last one. The last one will be my baby, which is baggage. I got a Mike White story.
Dragging on them bags like that. I guess nobody ever told you how you must hold on to. It's you, it's you, it's you. One day, all them bags gon' get in your way. One day, all them bags gon' get in your way. Wanna do days on them bags gon' get in your way. Come on. One day, all them bags gon' get in your way. So, pack light. Bank lady, you gon' miss your bus. You can't hurry up, 'cause you got too much stuff, child. When they see you coming, brothers take off.
Baggage. Man, I see too much of this shit, bro. This is crazy. Listen, and it's easier said than done. I understand that. I do. However, we as a people, we gotta understand, man. Spirituality plays a big part into it, because once you got the Creator within your being, within your mental, you understand? When you have that, there's so much positivity involved with that. You know what I mean? You ain't have to worry about the baggage, which is negativity. You understand? It's you kind of deduct from that. Okay? Listen, this is the Mike White joint. So, a dear friend of mine, we grew up together. So I knew his family. I knew his mother, sister, and things of that nature, vice versa. And, throughout our upbringing, we never seen the pops. You understand? And as a young motherfucker, I was like, shit, I just didn't think he existed. I didn't know no better, so I always see moms, you know what I mean? That's real rap. And, you know, fast forwarding, we get to, let's say, 30 years old, maybe 30 and some change. Now, my homie's little sister grew up with my little sister, so they was about 4 years younger than us. And it just so happened that the younger sister, she lived in an apartment building with me at the time. You know what I mean? She lived a floor up from it. And so her brother used to come over often. That was my man. You know what I'm saying? We grew up together, we bumped together, all that. And one day she came to me. She was distraught. You know, she came downstairs and she said, son, I need somebody to talk to. I said, what's going on? And she said, you know, I'm 30 plus years old. And I'm just finding out the truth about my father. I said, what? She said, let me tell you something. I did some snooping in my mother's house and found a whole bunch of letters that my father had wrote me and my brother throughout our years coming up. She said, this motherfucker hit him. Held on to him for her need, but hid him from us. Not only that, she badmouthed him throughout the upload. So she's saying, he ain't shit, he don't love you, you see he ain't coming around. She said, I'm 30 plus years old and I'm just finding this out. And she was hurt, and I felt for her. Yeah. You know, I felt that.
I'm feeling it now. Hey, with me, bro.
You know what I'm saying? And I said, damn. You know, and mind you, I know the mother. I know her all my life. You know what I mean? So I'm like, whoa. So anyway, fast forwarding, you know, one day the mother come by, and, you know, they called me upstairs because she was there. You know, oh, I want to see him. You know, so I came up there. Hey, you know, how you doing? And she says, what's up, son? How you doing? I said, all right. And she said, can you believe this motherfucker had the nerve to bring some bit? I have no idea what's going on. I just came upstairs. I have no idea. I'm clueless. Pardon me? You know what I mean? Pardon me? And she said, yeah, he brought some young bitch up. Who are you talking about?
This is the mom talking?
Yeah.
Okay.
She said, my ex-husband. Yo, she's been divorced from this dude for 50 years. I said, what? I said, yeah, listen, it's good seeing you. I got something in the oven downstairs. I got to go. I'm not going to be a part of this shit. Not to hear it, not to talk it, not to feel it, not to smell it. This is baggage. Are you fucking kidding me? 50 years, you hold on. The man moved on, obviously. You know, listen, we're gonna have a insert before this topic. Erykah Badu, she made a song, "Bag Lady." That's what it is. You holding on to too much negative weight. You know, and this is just, and I've run across many sisters that hold on to the baggage. They're bag ladies. And I'm going to just say, and then I'm going to give it to my brother. You know, sisters, please, and brothers too that do it. I don't know many that, but I'm quite sure they're out there. You know, we have to let go of the baggage. This is killing people. Do you know, my point of that Mike White story is the fact that woman passed away prematurely because it killed her. That killed her. The baggage will afford you bad health. You understand? And a lot of people don't get that. You know, they just think, oh, yeah, and they just hold on to it for 20 years. No. This will kill you. Please understand that. We must drop the baggage. What happened, happened. And guess what? Spirituality plays a part into everything. It plays a part in this too. It happened for a reason. So if we start to understand that whatever happened for a reason, we can, I think that we'll be able to embrace it a little bit better. Let go of the baggage. Brother Charlie, baggage.
You know, when you first started talking about baggage, I said, you know, I really wish you would define it, you know, a little bit better, because we have baggage from our relationships, you know, but we have historical baggage.
Yes.
Okay? We have baggage that comes from the slavery system where they had breeding farms
Yes.
and incest going on and the dehumanization of our people that was, horrific, widespread, systematic, legalized. Okay? Well, and it started from the Constitution, and went forward. I mean, baggage, we have mental illness that permeates our ethnic group because ancestral relationships create that. The whole Willie Lynch thing, just gives you a glimpse into how horrific it was. You know what I'm saying? Pitting one group, the younger against the older, the light skin against the dark skin, the house against the field. That's baggage.
Yeah.
That's baggage, right? It's generational stuff that is magnified and festered. You understand what I'm saying?
Colorism, we still go through it. Light skin, dark skin.
Yeah, and it breaks my heart, okay? Because I'm saying, why can't we get together as a people and overcome? Going back to the materialism thing, if we were to boycott certain industries, they would be shut down. Okay? If we said, okay, well, this big company, I ain't gonna name it, because I don't feel like being sued. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna get nothing.
Name it.
But
fuck them. Name it. It's killing us.
Let me pick one.
Pick one. Shit.
So,
Yeah, take it.
Okay, all right, let's say phones. Okay, that industry itself. If we decided, okay, we're not going to buy the next generation of phones, that will put a huge dent in the market.
Yes.
Okay, if we the number one consumers, supposedly,
We have power.
and we decide we're not going to patronize this group because we're united, because we don't have the baggage, okay, it would shut things down. And as far as, the baggage, we have baggage, but we also have an ongoing assault on us. Materialistically, we had our Wall Street in a couple different places, Tulsa being one of them, okay? We've had successful black communities where we were taking care of our own, where we were living the American dream, where we were independent and strong. And the majority culture decided they were going to destroy it. Okay? That creates baggage when we lose our loved ones, when we lose our businesses, when we lose our land.
Yes, sir.
Okay? It's a heartfelt hurt for me when I hear about somebody's losing their land. That their people been on for so many years down south, and they grew up on it, now they moved to the north because they had trouble.
Yeah.
These things create emotional baggage that we can't get away from. It turns us on each other, okay? From some of the closest people, that are to us, because that's what we do as human beings. The people who are closest to us bear the brunt of our mental illness, our happiness, our love, the whole ball. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, we have to understand this. We have to step back from our baggage. Somebody has to point it out to us sometime because we be so caught up in it. You feel me? And we have to keep an open mind that, we're not perfect.
Yeah, no doubt.
And that we need help. But for the grace of God, go out.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? And, it's like, all I can say to my brothers and sisters is that we have to continue to evolve. We have to, put our money where our mouth is. We have to support one another, because if we don't support each other, who's going to support us? You know what I'm saying? We got enough against us. And I'm not saying discriminate. I don't dislike white people as a whole. One of my first friends was a little white boy. Okay? And we shared everything. Okay? We didn't have much. We might have a dime, a nickel, a quarter between us.
Right.
We go to the store, we get popsicles.
One about the color of the skin, but the content of the character.
But that little white boy had more heart than a whole bunch of people I met since then. Baggage, we're never going to eliminate it all, but we got to recognize it for what it is. And we got to keep ourselves open to it. You know, we can't attack the father and mother of our children because we are attacking the children at the same time.
Yeah.
You know?
More importantly.
And, you know, I have known a few women who, no matter what, they would not separate that father from that child. No matter how bad he treated, they would talk bad about him. Okay? When he wanted to see him, she allowed it.
It's a great thing.
And they had a relationship.
Yeah.
It wasn't until that child became an adult that they found out mom and dad didn't get along.
Yeah.
And that kind of strength.
That's beautiful.
That kind of spiritual strength. Because that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, there's not enough of that anymore. You know what I mean? We have got to get back to what got us to this point. We have survived the Middle Passage and all that has come since then. It has the spiritual. I mean, if they take everything away from it, it's got to be within. You feel me? The materialism, if we didn't have it, then there had to be something within. That has not been destroyed. Okay? You know, the Kwanzaa celebration, the Ron Kareem that started so many years ago, he modeled it after the Jewish menorah, okay? But he made it up. He essentially just made it up and said, you know what? We need this. Okay, we have to get back to our spirituality. And it was a blessing for a lot of people because they couldn't embrace Islam. They couldn't embrace Christianity, okay? They couldn't embrace a lot of other religions, but they needed something. And in the 60s, he recognized we needed something. We are a spiritual people. And if we lose that, then we're truly lost forever.
Well, that's where we're at now for the most part. Essentially, to be honest with you, man, listen, if we had more spirituality collectively, man, I don't believe we would be in this situation we're in. But we're going to hold on to that conversation, but that's a good one, too. Get the brother right here.
All right, baggage. It's going to be short and sweet. When I think of baggage, the first thing I think about is being weighed down. The more bags you got, the slower you roll. You know, you just think of something simple, a simple analogy like, you know, grocery shopping, you got a whole bunch of bags in the car. You try to take, 3, 4, 5 each hand. You know what I'm saying? You got to walk a little slow and balance that thing. You can't move because you got a lot of bags. You got a lot of baggage. You can't move and navigate through life like you need to. So we need to drop some of that bags. Now, that's easier said than done. I know from experience, man. I've been depressed, oppressed, repressed, suppressed, and all kind of other kind of pressures you can name. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to put my business out there. I filed bankruptcy twice. I've been divorced twice. I had my car repossessed twice. So I've been through some stuff, so I know I can talk. But by the grace of God, my faith in God, by Christian faith, I'm not embarrassed. I'm not ashamed. That's what helped me through. Okay. But other than that, having some good brothers, support, people you could talk to, go to, I'd have been messed up. But, that baggage, man, I've been plagued by, as far as like my failed marriages, what shoulda, coulda, woulda, if I'd have did this, if I did that. And, they held me back for a while from growing, but I just took that to the Lord, man. And, he took that off me. It didn't happen overnight. Some of that stuff took years. Some of it was less than that. It just depended on, how deep it was. But God brought me through all that. And he could bring you through it too. So, yeah, man, that baggage, no good. What you got, bro?
Absolutely. Brother, baggage. Really was short and sweet. I'm going to touch on all y'all brothers, because, y'all always talk about good points. I'm going to touch on you because it starts with spirituality. As you said, that's all we've ever had since they brought us over here. And it seems now, brother side hit it, we don't have it. A lot of religion, not a lot of spirituality. There's a difference. We talked about that earlier. I'm not going to get into that. Yes. But we have to do that. With baggage specifically, every person on this earth has had to deal with something in their lives. And what we have to do for the solution to get through the baggage is we have to understand it. You have to understand as an individual. You weren't the only one raped. You weren't the only one molested. You weren't the only one sodomized. You weren't the only one that had a drug-addicted mom or dad. You was the only one that didn't eat when you were a child. You was the only one that moved from house to house to house, or when you were homeless. Unfortunately, these things they happen. They happen. I'm going to touch on something that we talked about earlier, appreciation. What these things happen in our lives for, if you have spirituality, understand, you say, well, hold on, why did God, why did Allah, why did Jehovah, why did the Creator, why did the Most High allow these things to happen? Is because He wants to bring you through them so that you can have appreciation for Him, first off, and the place that you are at now, that you're not at that place anymore. We've gotten away from our spirituality. We focus so much on the negativity. And as you say, we bring this stuff with us into our late teens, early 20s, 30s, 40s, and so forth and so on, not understanding we're not supposed to bring this stuff with us. When you get on an airplane, you carry a bag, right? You have to check that bag in because they don't want you to take it on the plane, but there's no room for it on the plane in the seating area. There's a reason why you can't take your bags in there. They don't want you to take it. And that's what baggage is. You're not supposed to take it with you as you get older. You're supposed to leave it exactly where it was behind. We have to be taught these things. And again, one of the major things that we need to do, and this is going to wake y'all up. This is going to be hard to do for some of y'all. You have to indoctrinate yourself and condition yourself to do this. We got to cut people off. We got to cut people off. I know it's going to be hard for somebody. I know it's hard to say, yo, that's my mother. Cut her off. Yo, that's my dad. Cut her off. That's my children. I love them. Didn't say you didn't love them. Got to cut them off. That's my sister. That's my brother. That's my friend. That's my buku. That's my homie. That's my ace. That's my dog. Got to cut them off. When you deal with people, if you ever analyze some of the baggage that you're carrying, sometimes there are other people's baggage that have been intruded on you. We have to do that. If you can consistently hang around, associate yourself with negative people who talk about negativity, and guess what? It's like cancer. It's going to filter in your life and it's going to spread. What you have to do when the Lord brings you through this baggage, leave it where it is. Learn to say, guess what? I'm not addicted to drugs anymore. I'm not homeless anymore. I'm not unemployed anymore. So forth and so on. Leave it there. Don't revisit it. Don't take it to your next relationship. Don't take it to a further in life. We have to condition ourselves. Since Black people typically don't see psychologists and psychiatrists and so forth and so on. So typically we tend to have no one that we can let this out to. Well, here's a wake-up call. You can't let it out to somebody that's negative. Because all they're going to do is fuel on the negativity. So who's ever in your circle, whoever you're associating with, baggage is a direct connection to unhappiness. You have to first off find your happiness. If you're connected with people and they're not making you happy, you got to cut yourself off from them and allow yourself to go through life so that the Creator can put positive, happy people in your life. You'll start seeing your whole life, your whole mentality change just by being around positive people. And that's what we're not doing. We are bombarded with negative images. These television shows, if you analyze them, negativity. There's fighting, there's dissension, there's hatred, all these popular TV shows that we tend to watch. Not gonna name this. No, because you know why? Because I'm not gonna glorify them. I'm not, because they're negative.
Shit, they already glorified.
You know what I mean? Let's put it in where it is. We got to start doing that. Cut these people off. Analyze your people. Yo, if someone didn't help you when you need help, if someone is talking about you, if someone when you were at your last, you asked them for help and they didn't come to assist you, guess what? Cut them off. Never speak to them again. You'll start finding your whole life become better when you start changing your circle, changing the people that you're around, changing your mentality. Instead of saying, yo, how was this day? Oh, it's a bad day. Yeah, you know who had a bad day? The guy that got killed last night. That's a bad day because he's not here. I'm still here. I never had a bad day. You know who had a bad day? The guy who just lost his job. You still working? You didn't have a bad day. When you start, and we talked about words earlier, yes, and the power of words. When you start changing your spirituality, when you start changing your vocabulary, your mentality, your circle, and make it all positive, you'll start finding out how, guess what? That baggage that you used to have, you left it exactly where it was. And there's no more, it doesn't affect you anymore. It's called power and strength. To know that you, and I know who you are, because every one of you had to deal with something, to come through whatever situation that you had, and you're still here, that's power. I want you to understand that. You're a powerful individual. You're a powerful being. And you only weaken yourself when you revisit
that baggage, that negativity that the Lord Creator, that Allah, that Jehovah, that the Most High brought you through, when you continue to revisit that, when you continue to talk about it and bring it up, all you're doing is making yourself lesser than what you are. You're a powerful king, you're a powerful queen. We need to start acting like that. And I know sometimes you feel alone because you felt that you're the only one that had to experience these things. Everyone has. Everyone's got a story. So I implore you, please, 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 Black people, understand that it starts with your mentality first. Understand, you've been through some things, you're not in it anymore, or if you're in it now, it's not going to be forever. You're going to come out of it. It's going to make you better. It's going to make you stronger. At some point in time, and you may say, well, hold on, Brother O, why did the Lord allow me to experience this horrible thing? Because now you can talk to your children and tell them how to get through whatever issue they're going to have, because they're going to have one. Now you can talk to your neighbor, you can talk to your friend, you can talk to your sibling, you can talk to someone who 5 years from now you haven't even met yet. You'll be walking on the street, you'll see someone there on top of a bridge, and you're driving through, you say, that person's about to jump off the bridge. And you say, well, hold on a second, sir, man, why are you about to kill yourself? Because I got raped and I had this child, and I didn't know it was too far along, and I can't get rid of it right now. You say, yeah, and that's why you want to kill yourself? I say, yeah. Well, guess what? I guess the Lord allowed me to come here for a reason, because I had the same thing happen to me. I was raped. I didn't know. It was about 4 months later, and I couldn't get rid of it. And it turned out to be one of the most beautiful thing that ever happened in my life. It came from something horrible, but it ended up being a blessing in my life. You can be that person that you don't even know that the Lord will use at some point in time. So everything that has happened to us is supposed to help someone at some point in time. So look at it that way. I know at the time it was negative and so forth and so on. But again, when the Creator brings you out of it, it's over, it's done with. But use it as a platform to help someone else sometime in life.
Yeah. I mean, look, like you said earlier, baggage is really a bunch of negativity. And bottom line is it'll weigh your ass down. And it will kill you. It's nothing good can come out of that. I gotta listen. That Michael White, that's gonna resonate with me for a while.
You get sued by that.
And
No,
I'm talking about you Michael White at me. Because I'm thinking about and not from the bully standpoint, but just from the story itself. You know what I mean? Just now when I think about telling the story, I'm like Michael White. You know what I mean? Boom. But I will say this, along with everything that we always talk about, we stand for, and we believe in. Michael White, short one. It's been sisters that I dealt with in the past, and I try to impart certain knowledge to them in positive. Yeah. But I will say this, and I feel you without you saying a word. I will say this. They say hindsight is 20/20. All right? I'll say it's 2015. I never knew it was 2015 until about a year ago. There is a 2015 with eyesight. Right, but 2015 is, hey, that's serious right there. You know what I mean? I didn't know that.
That could be overcome. Blindness, okay?
No,
that's serious.
But I'm talking about, but anyway, this is it. So, I've had sisters say, years later, I'm talking about 5 years, you know what I mean? And a few in particular, where they called me up, you know what I'm saying? So I know one, just specifically, in Mississippi I started dealing with her. And this sister had a young daughter, maybe 3 years old, and she was always, this is years back, she was always out in the club and the bars and shit, you know what I mean? She would call me here when I'm home in Philly. And she'd be like, what you doing? Da, da, da. I'm like, yo, what's happening? And she'd be like, yeah, I'm very good at this. I'm like, yo, what's going on? I'm like, what's going on with you? Why is it that you're always in the street when you got a young daughter? What's going on? And she said, well, it's not like Philly where it's, we don't have nothing to do over here. And I said, sweetheart, my man Kev, God rest his soul, he's gone. And he was supposed to be on this forum. Love that brother. He was with me this one particular night. We was down Southwest. And I said, yo, man, what the fuck? Listen, you got to start focusing on things, man. You got a little daughter.
You know what I mean? Listen, everything comes from teaching. You know what I mean? What they see, what they hear, what they feel, they gravitate to that. This is not right what you're doing. You're running around. Listen, stay home with that little girl, man. Raise that little girl. Teach her the right things to do. Because if she keeps seeing this, when she gets older, she's going to think that's the way to move. And then if she has a child, she's going to leave that child and go out there and party. What can I do? I said, check this out. Sit down. Think about what interests you. Whatever interests you, go to the library and get a book on it. Start reading. Educate yourself. Get in tune with self. Once you do that, you will know what you need to do. Let me tell you something, man. 5 years later, I was sitting in my living room, guys. Never forget it. Got a phone call. Didn't even recognize the number. Boom. It was her. She said, "Son, I just want to thank you." And she said, "I didn't even really want much." She said, "But she said, you changed my life." Brought tears to my eyes. So what you talking about? She said, "What you told me, I wound up doing." And she said, "Guess what? I'm raising my daughter. She's a beautiful young girl." And she said, "I stopped with what I was doing, the bad habits." So, we got to each one teach 10, as we always say there, the outro. And it comes with positivity. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of people out here that they may have it and they hold on to it. And I think our brother that spoke about earlier, we got to spread this. This is why where we at too, because we don't spread the positivity and the knowledge. This shit is important, man. Come on, anybody else, chime in. I just wanted to put that point out there. I think it's extremely profound,
If I could, I just want to apologize to all the black women, who had to endure so much for so long, for so many. I wrote a poem one time, and I said that this should be a massive statue of liberty for black women. Okay, that's originally what it was supposed to be. But it needs to be erected in every harbor around the world because of the black diaspora, the African diaspora. But in this country specifically, our women have had to endure so much more. And, I apologize for not appreciating them more, not being able to give them more materialism, not being able to protect them, okay? And I know I've personally done things wrong, because we human beings, we make mistakes.
So, absolutely.
No doubt. I have 6 sisters, okay? And I say to myself, I'm not going to put my hands on a woman because if somebody messes with my sisters, then I'm going to be righteous in how I deal with it, okay? But there has to be a point where we have to say, you know what? It doesn't have to be my sister. It has to be any woman, anywhere. Because, we know it's going to happen because we live in this kind of society.
Right, exactly. The world.
But what we don't know is who's going to step up to the plate to protect these sisters.
But I would want somebody protecting my sisters.
Exactly.
Be out there on the train and some nut want to, or whatever the case may be, just look out for each other,
But
everybody chime in because we're gonna cut it off. We've been doing this for a minute now, so we don't want to lull them to sleep. The attention span with us is very short. Yeah. That's why we do what we do. But everybody, whatever you got to say.
The last thing I want to say, is that we have to use our natural first teachers to reconnect with our children. You know what I'm saying? And to get us going in the right direction because the black women have borne a burden. You know what I'm saying? And we got to do that. We got to give them their respect. We got to give them their due. And when we do that, when we start lifting them up, they're going to lift us up even higher. You know what I'm saying? Their shoulders are the ones we stand on. So they're for real. I think of all the sisters who lost their man to the prison system, to the wars, to the diseases, AIDS. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and that's a topic we need to talk about.
We can.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
the black woman had their daughter. Okay, that's a part of their baggage. You know, the only way they're going to be able to overcome that baggage is if we are supportive of them. You know what I'm saying? And if we have to say, you know what, I was wrong in the past, but today, from this point forward, you know, I'm gonna be a better man. You know, and treat my sister with greater respect.
Yes.
You know,
Brother Rich, can you unlock the door for me, please? Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, young boy. Righteous step. Yeah, I like that though, brother. Hey, brother Rich, you got something when you come back?
No, I'm good, bro. Yeah.
Brother O, come on with it, brother.
You know, I always got something to say, but
Yes, sir.
we've been doing this a minute. Look. I mean, we talk about it all the time. Look, we love you. We love you, black people. We want all of us to. We want us to be better. We want us to think better. We want us to do better. How much longer do we have to continue on in this cycle of negativity, of downtroddeness, of murder, of brothers going to prison at an incredible rate, of just the degradation and destruction of the black family before us collectively say, you know what, it's enough of that. We got to be better. How much more negativity that we see on a TV screen until we say, I don't want to see that anymore. You know, we have, and the brother talked about how much power we have if we just stop purchasing phones. You know how much power we have in this country already, how powerful we are, how if we stop watching television shows, if we stop purchasing certain things, if we got along, you know, if we communicated with each other instead of holding things in, you know, instead of just focus on positivity and caring about other people, so forth, so on, how much better as an ethnicity we would be. So I just try to implore people, let's start today. If you're watching this, start today and ask yourself just one question. How can I be better? Don't look at anybody else. Don't look at and think about anything that has happened in the past. Don't think about what's going on possibly in the future, Lord willing. Just think and ask yourself, how can I be a better human being? How can I be a better parent? And if you start focusing on that thing, man, you'll start seeing just a plethora of people coming together and doing more positive things, and how the ethnicity will rise as a whole. It's just incredible. You know, we have to get to a point where we're fed up. The question is, are you at that point yet? Are you fed up with the situations that's going on in the black ethnicity? Are you fed up with brothers going to jail at an increasing rate? Are you fed up with brothers murdering brothers? Are you fed up with brothers disrespecting women? Are you fed up with a certain music and television shows just promoting just all the negativity amongst ourselves? Are you fed up yet? Well, if you are fed up, it's time to do something. Or your son or your daughter will be affected by it in that negative way. And then we're going to have generations and generations and generations just promoting this abundance of negativity.
All right. So, hopefully you enjoyed it and appreciated it. And hopefully that you were able to get some nuggets from this session and all sessions, as a matter of fact. You know what I mean? There you have it. Black Men's Dialogue, we're signing off. Hopefully we were able to spark the minds of brothers and sisters so you can continue to have these type of conversations within your own circles, and each one teach 10. Until next F. God bless. Love is love. Peace. Peace.
I want to talk about the people that don't have their mama no more. Because we all sometimes forget to appreciate our mothers. But like my little homeboy Mutar, he don't got no mother today. While we all shedding smiles and being happy, they can't be happy because they don't got no mama. What, Danny Boy, he's singing off for all of y'all mama. Danny Boy out here making everybody feel good. He ain't got no mama to hug him. We got to get back to that old school shit where we all care for everybody and all of us raise all these kids because we all out of hand. So last year about this time, I was sitting in a maximum security penitentiary. I couldn't sing this song for my mama, but I'm going to do it today for all y'all and all y'all mama. Dear mama. Peter. When I was young, me and my mama had beef, 17 years old, kicked out on the streets. Though back at the time, I never thought I'd see her face. Ain't a woman alive that could take my mama's place. Suspended from school and scared to go home. I was a fool with the big boys breaking all the rules. And shed tears with my baby sister. Over the years, we was poor than the other little kids. And even though we had different daddies, same drama when things went wrong, we blame mama. I reminisce on the stress I caused. It was hell, hugging on my mama from a jail cell. And who thinking elementary? Hey, I see the penitentiary one day. Running from the police, that's right. Mama catch me, put a whooping to my backside. And even as a crack fiend, mama, you always was a black queen, mama. I finally understand, for a woman it ain't easy.
Please, wake up.